Hello, welcome again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're from. If you can please give me a thumbs up in the chat, tell us where you're from. Let me just check everything is connected and working. Looking forward to our session today. We will wrap up the part two of the book, which now has a launch date effective December 1st. So watch for that. If you're interested in getting the book, do reach out and connect with us or jump onto the website and look for biqorg.com/books or email me and we'll make sure that you have what you need. So without further ado, I'm just going to again check the chat, make sure we are live and working. It looks like we are. Thank you. Welcome. Let me get started. The past few weeks, we've been focused on the behavior intelligence part of the book. The part one was all about the self-awareness and leadership. This is part two, and November we'll jump into part three. And so that will be the next phase of the process. So let's get into this. Let me get my clicker working. And it's not, I just need to get it going here. There we go. Let's see if that works now. Good. Okay. So this is week 7. We did this deliberately because there was just so many chapters in this part of the book, and we needed to pull it all together. And so today is about building the action plan, implementing. I guess shame on you if you haven't executed at least one or two of those chapters and implemented them in your business, whether you're a leader, a coach, it doesn't matter. This was all for you guys so that you can actually take advantage of that. Week 1, we discussed the science of observation, the facts, not the impressions. Then we went into cracking the code and gave you a step-by-step process that you can follow to look at the trigger, the pattern, and the rewards that support that loop. Then week 3, we jumped into the lens, your filters, your biases, understanding and, reducing stress actually is the element of that particular chapter. So it's a very important one to reduce your stress, allow yourself to be human, allow others to be human, understand your lens. Turning the invisible to visible. We often joke about if a tree falls in a forest, does anybody hear it? Well, the same in management. If you do all of these things, do you get instant feedback? And the answer is probably not. You don't know if you're actually having an impact. So this process allows you to shift from that invisible to actually using a system that allows you to turn the invisible to visible actions. You can see what's happening, you can see those changes, and that's an important part of the reward that you need to get as a leader in order to keep going and be motivated and excited by the impact that you are having through behavior intelligence. Understanding, separating behaviors from emotions. We went into the whole understanding the physiological aspects of that. And then last session was to uncover those hidden drivers. And again, in every one of those sessions, we've provided you with a step-by-step guide of what you can do. And if you want to take that further, there's always the workshops that we run, and you're welcome to join us on one of those sessions or the whole series. Okay, so watch for that. Next year we are launching a new program that will actually take all of this into a complete program. Okay, so today we dive into getting your 30-day plan, action plan, so that you can put all of this into action. We're going to talk about the integration. It's going to be a fairly quick recap, and I encourage you to go back into those previous sessions and go through them. And again, if you miss those, you can always find them. I'll put this up again by going to biqorg.com/events. Okay, so let's get back to here. Now, today's mission. All right, so I'm going to walk you through this 4-step process: the observe, decode, design, and deploy. Okay, and the reason for that is, all this knowledge and information is great, and we call it entertainment if you do nothing with it. It's nice entertainment. You watch these videos, you go, wow, this is nice, but if you do nothing with it, it was just that. It was entertainment. And so today is really putting it all into action by looking at them together. So here's the plan. And all of this is covered in the last 6 weeks of sessions. First, get yourself in the habit, all right, to observe, right? Notice, record, and reflect on the cycles, right? And I'm going to give you a step-by-step process on how to implement all of this. So, and then, so do a morning and evening. It's important to do both, okay? And if you forget one day, it's okay. Allow yourself to be human. We all have things that interrupt our patterns, our routine, our habits. And so you will forget from time to time, or life will happen and it will throw you off. You just need to get back on, okay? And it's easy to do that when you allow yourself to say that to yourself. Say, I'm human and I missed yesterday. It's okay. I will get back on it. Okay, so be sure to do that. Secondly, you're going to decode that, right? So map the loop, identify the triggers and rewards. Do the 3 whys, do your Acumatch map to help you dive into that decoding aspect. The data is the important stuff that, we can't measure intuition, okay? We can't measure instinct. You can only measure the things that you document, and the data that you collect is the only thing that can actually give you that feedback loop that you need to keep going and to apply these things. Right? Audit your biases, your filters. Then third stage is design. Design the new way of behaviors that you want to have in place. Have your culture, your environment, maybe specific people that you are working with, that you are looking to make a change, and using the pattern interrupt deliberately. Okay, applying new reward structures. They don't have to be monetary. We talked about that last time. Okay, and building that team accountability. I talked to you about our program, the peer-to-peer accountability. There are different methods that you can use to create that accountability in place. In fact, our leadership app that we're launching actually does a lot of that for you. It automates the accountability to some extent. We use AI, we use software to support leaders in what they are doing, support coaches in what they are doing with their clients. So be sure to use that. Okay. Then fourth stage is, deploy, right? You've done all this planning, all this work, you've identified the things that you want to work on, the new patterns that you want to have in place, then it's time to deploy it, okay? And you need a scorecard, so do measure, where you started from so you can see where you've ended up. If you don't do that, there isn't the reward system in place to encourage you to keep doing that, okay? And we're not going to boil the ocean, if you use that expression. We're going to just do one thing at a time, okay? Think of it this way. If there are 10 things that you spot, just pick one and start with that, because if you do one a month, and I'm going to show you how, you'll get all 10 done in a year. And a year will go by pretty quick if you are working on these things because of the excitement and the energy and the enthusiasm that you get from seeing this take effect. Okay. So hopefully I'm preaching to the converted, but here is your 30-day action plan. This is what you want to start taking notes and write this down and start doing it, okay? So week 1 is your baseline. If you don't have a baseline, you can't tell if you've improved, right? So you take the 4 pillars that I just shared with you, ODDDD, right? And you apply that here. You start with your observation. You start documenting that baseline and get the assessments done. Then in week 2, make sure you have a map that you are starting from. Ask the 3 whys. This is all helping you to see the blind spots, to expose the things that, we talked about this, right? It allows you to expose the things that you don't normally think of, that are the underpinning behavior and thinking that's going on in your organization or with individuals. So you need to do AccuMatch and your 3 whys. You need to do some of the assessments that we're launching that are self-assessments. Okay, so then you want to think about redesigning the loop, planning the environment. How are you going to impact that? What's the strategy to do that, right? And you're going to do one of these every month. So this is a 30-day plan that you can repeat every month. Right? Then week 3, right? Now starting to pilot and test it and look at the change that is taking effect, adjusting, right? Because the data and the feedback that you get from what you are testing will give you that information that you need to. You're not going to get it right first time. By the time you've done 10 of these, you're mastering it. You're an expert at transforming any organization. You could walk into any organization and transform the culture, the behavior, the level of commitment and action that takes place in an organization happens because of these steps that you take. Okay. And then week 4, right? You can scale it a bit, and push a little bit harder. Look at the habits, what's happening, give feedback, assess progress, plan another cycle, think about the next step, right? So you do this every month, you'll be a transformation superstar, right? So essential tools that you need that daily log that I mentioned earlier. You need the weekly pattern tracking, right? If you the kind of leader that has trouble sticking to that, make sure you assign this task to someone who can hold you accountable to make sure that that gets done, right? It's not just about them having peer-to-peer accountability. You need that accountability yourself. And when you verbalize it and you commit it to someone else or to the group, even better, then you are essentially telling your brain that you are now accountable, okay? And so it's important for you to do that, right? And then share that once a month. You don't need to do it weekly. I suggest you don't, okay? But look at it month. There's the baseline at the start of the month. Here's where we got to this month. We're going to keep going, and then we're going to start another one, okay? And so we constantly transform an organization one small piece at a time. Okay. Now, making the assessments practical, right? There's the engagement, communication, decision-making. All of these things are critical. The self-assessment, the peer-to-peer feedback, tracking trends. You know, if you are the type of leader that is so focused on your KPIs, the things that generate revenue for the company, then this is the foundation, the KPI that is going to ensure that those numbers get achieved. Okay, it's if you don't deal with the people who are doing the work, you will constantly be having to the old monkey on your back, having that constant stress of having to follow up every single person. If you do this properly, I guarantee you the business will run very smoothly, and it will be exciting, fun, energized. It's an amazing workplace environment when you do that. Okay. So accountability helps to generate the momentum. The more accountability you put in place, it doesn't have to be negative consequences. It just needs to be human, right? Allow people to be human. They will forget sometimes. They will miss something sometimes. You just need to help them get back onto that. Allow that to happen. The BIQ buddy, right? So I talked about peer-to-peer, peer-to-peer accountability, and this is a similar process now focused specifically on the behavior, so that people, you don't have to micromanage this thing. You know, people can help each other, okay, when you set it up right, and when you have a tracking and recording mechanism that also supports and encourages it. Are you going to have the skeptics? Yes, you will, right? And your job is to keep going so that the masses that have success with this bring those skeptics along, okay? And so, again, allow people to be human. Humanity has skepticism. That's built into us, right? And so it's the fear of failure, sometimes the fear of success, right? Those are not medical conditions. That's what I was thinking of. You don't need to medicate people. You just need to understand that that's reality, and that's people that you need to work with and encourage, and they will come along. Okay, so work on that. The reminders, we talked about the software, the tools. Okay, now be careful of these things, right? You might be waiting too long to kickstart this because you haven't figured all the pieces out. You know what? You won't. And no matter how many times I repeat this to you, until you take the first step, you won't ever learn it. Okay? So take the first step, make the mistakes, learn from it. You're going to do this every month. You will be an expert by the end of your first year. Okay, so be comfortable with the fact that this takes time, but it also takes practice, right? Don't overcomplicate it. Just start with bits of paper, okay, and delegate it. Someone else can put it into a spreadsheet. Don't try to turn it into fancy dashboards and reports and PowerPoints and all of that. Day one, that's over engineering it before you've started. Just get started. Well, isolation, you can't do this on your own. You do need the support. You can't have accountability if it's just in your head, okay? You need to verbalize it. You need to walk the walk, walk the talk, and you need to practice these things and practice. Making it permanent can only happen through repetition, right? If you don't repeat something, it's like, if we use sport analogies, if you want to be good at any sport, how much practice do you need to do? Lots. Okay, if you want to be great as a leader, an intelligent leader with behavior intelligence, you've got to practice. Okay, so enjoy, have fun with it, and embrace the failures, because you will have them. You're not going to be perfect day one. The whole point is the practice. Go back through the weeks that we've done. Watch all those videos, take notes, pick one thing that you want to do and follow it through, okay? Measuring your progress, this is the key success indicator, if you like, just like KPIs in your business that are to do with the financial or operations or support, any of those things, this is also one of those. And think of it, if you get this foundation right, we threw away the traditional performance reviews and brought in purely a behavior review system, okay? And the impact of just focusing on that affected the KPIs, even though we weren't tracking the KPIs, we did this experiment. It was just phenomenal, the impact on the numbers, just by focusing on performance, attitude, culture, all of those areas. So it is important, okay? So observing the patterns, engaging, is going to improve, give feedback, be confident, allow people to be okay. When you do that, it's not confrontational anymore. You're not judging somebody. You are building a culture, okay? So take action today. Like I said, today's session is a quick one, and make sure that you get the book when it comes out. Jump on, reach out to us so that you can get the assessments that are coming out. Watch for these. There's going to be a number of free assessments. It's going to be some tools that you can apply as a result of that. So watch for these things, okay? If you want one-on-one coaching, reach out, contact me. I'll either put you in touch with one of our coaches, or we'll figure something out for you so that you can actually do either one of our online courses or work with somebody. There's always a solution that can help you to get this applied. If you need hand-holding through this process, I've shown you so much. You can do it yourself, but I know there's a lot of people that want to elevate their success by working with someone. We get it, okay? So do that. Now, exciting part, we move to part 3 in the next session. There's nothing next week, taking a break, but next session, I will start covering the 6 chapters in that. We'll have a 7th wrap up, because this also is a big part of the book. And so we're going to talk about not instructing, leading by example. It's going to be our first session. Behavior is a culture in motion. That's important to understand, that the power of the environment that's created through culture. Influence is behavioral, not positional. You don't need to be the boss telling people how they should act, right? You need to influence and create an environment that does that. We'll talk about that. Visible standards create that accountability. So if you don't measure it, it's not going to improve. There is no visual feedback. There is no scorecard, if you like. You can't play any sport without a scorecard, right? Why do we have a scorecard? It's not so much for competition, but it's for that self-awareness to improve, right? Okay. Emotional neutrality, that's an important session, very, very key in leadership. And then adapting your leadership through the behavior intelligence methodology that we've covered. So we start November 5, so join me. Okay, now, one last thing, your implementation plan, your strategy, okay? First, you need a roadmap. You need the benchmark. You need that first stage. If you don't know how to do that, or you don't have somebody helping you do that, reach out and we'll help you do that. That's my personal appointment, acumaticai.com/Q30Z. It's a 30-minute meeting to, if you're stuck and you want some guidance, do reach out and I'll help you with that. Context is unique. No system is going to know your specific situation. And by that's what we talk about and say when we say context, right? Your products, your team, your dynamics, your background, their background, all of that. No AI can pick that. And that's why you need someone to ask you those questions and help you uncover those in order to create the roadmap properly. Okay. Finally, okay, so part 3 will be, actually I should say part 2 is now complete. Okay, there are tools, there's community. You can join the biq.network community. You'll find we're loading lots of free courses that you can access on there, and a community of people that you can work with. Some of the mastermind sessions that aren't posted on the events page are available through there, and you can join any one of those groups through there. So without further ado, that's pretty much it for me for today, and I hope you are ready to apply all of this and begin your journey to transformation, your journey of success. Whoops, I clicked something I shouldn't have, but I think you get it. All right, thank you, have a good day.